Yesterday we did second chapter. Now let us start third chapter. Chapter third is Karma Yoga. Okay, so that's a very famous chapter. I said yesterday also many people want to read only third chapter. Okay, Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is a very famous term. So in what is the connection? Actually almost all the things whatever is need to be said already said in second chapter. Now third chapter, now detailed explanation, so that it's not for Arjuna, it's for people like us who are not much smart to understand the message of Krishna. So Arjuna will ask further questions so that matter can be more and more elaborated, so that fool people like me can understand it. So in Bhagavad Gita 2.49, Krishna tells Arjuna to keep all abominable activities far distant by Buddhi Yoga. Keep everything away. Okay. Krishna is saying to Arjuna that everything you should be, use your Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi. Okay. Duren hi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service. Buddhi yoga. So this instruction actually confused Arjuna. Buddhi yoga. Use buddhi yoga and avoid all the abominable activities. Killing and all. Arjuna is thinking that buddhi means intelligence. So by using his intelligence, he should avoid all abominable activities and thus not fight. So Krishna said that you avoid abominable activities, use your buddhi, intelligence. So Arjuna thought, maybe Krishna is saying that use your intelligence and avoid these abominable activities. Duren hi avaram karma. Okay. Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. So avaram karma, abominable activities like fighting and all I should avoid. So I should not fight. That's what Krishna is saying. But if Krishna is saying me that use your buddhi and don't fight, then why is telling me that you fight? So one place is saying use your intelligence and avoid these bad things, fighting and all. But one side he is saying you fight. Why this is confusion? Okay. So, chapter 3 begins with this question only, that please, my dear Lord, clarify this instruction. It looks like contradictory instructions. Okay, so Buddhi Yoga is Bhakti Yoga, but literally Buddhi means intelligence. So Arjuna took the word meaning like that only. Buddhi means intelligence. So Krishna's order means that he should use his intelligence and avoid the fighting, abominable activities. So Krishna has even emphasized intelligence by using the word buddhi 10 times. Okay. In the final verses of second chapter, Krishna used buddhi word 10 times, many times. That means he is emphasizing that you use your intelligence and don't fight. So Arjuna is having this idea that maybe Krishna is telling me to not to fight. But again he is telling to fight. That means it is contradictory. He is giving me two instructions and both are contradictory. If I don't want to fight, then how can I fight? And if he want me to fight, then why he is saying that don't fight? So in this way we can understand that Arjuna is concluding that he should renounce fighting and thus keep the abominable activity of killing his relatives very far distant using buddhi yoga or linking his intelligence to the Supreme. Okay. But why then Krishna is asking him to fight? So these two verses he will ask, please clear my doubt. Okay. Third chapter, first sloka. अर्जुन उवाच ज्यायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव. Arjuna said, O Janardhan, O Keshav, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna has very elaborately described the construction of the soul in the previous chapter. This is purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Jai. Prabhupada is saying that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has very nicely, very elaborately has already described what? The constitution of the soul in the previous chapter, second chapter, with a view to delivering his intimate friend Arjuna from the ocean of material grief. And the path of realization has been recommended. So Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness, sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood to be inertia, and one with such a misunderstanding often withdraws to a secluded place to become fully Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. Okay. So, but without being trained in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, it is not advisable to chant the holy name of Krishna in a secluded place where one may acquire only cheap adoration from the innocent public. Arjuna also thought of Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga or intelligence in spiritual advancement of knowledge as something like retirement from active life and the practice of penance and austerity to at a secluded place. So maybe Arjuna is thinking like that. Prabhupada is saying Arjuna thought that maybe Krishna is saying that you renounce all this fighting and all and go and live in the jungle like that. In other words, he wanted to skillfully avoid the fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse. Very, very, very important thing. That nobody should avoid their duties on the name of Krishna consciousness. Okay. He wanted Krishna, Prabhupada saying he wanted to skillfully avoid the fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse. Many people use Krishna consciousness as an excuse for their not doing their duties. Like some kids may say, oh, because now I started doing bhakti, I am not able to study properly, no time, so my marks came less. No. Or because of so much Krishna consciousness, I am not doing this. Sometimes I saw like some ladies, they became connected to Krishna consciousness, and then because they don't want to do any job, so they just said, no, I will not cook for you, I will not do this, you are for their husband. So that's not good. Avoiding, you have to see the real thing, your duties. So on the name of Krishna consciousness, don't avoid your duties. That's what the point here. Okay. But as a sincere student, he placed the matter before his master and questioned Krishna as to his best course of action. But he was confused, so he asked Krishna. So in answer, Lord Krishna elaborately explained Karma Yoga or work in Krishna consciousness in this third chapter. Work in Krishna consciousness. How to work in Krishna consciousness, that is Karma Yoga. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada is telling here that Arjuna also thought of Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga or intelligence in spiritual advancement of knowledge as something like retirement from active life and the practice of austerity and penance at a secluded place. Okay. Prabhupada is writing in purport. In other words, he wanted to skillfully avoid the fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse, but as a sincere student, he placed the matter to his guru, his master Krishna. Okay. So then Krishna will explain him the Karma Yoga. Okay. Vyami shreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiv me tadekam vad nishchitya yena shreyo ahamapnuyam. My intelligence is bewildered, Arjuna is saying. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. So, in the previous chapter, as a prelude to the Bhagavad Gita, many different paths were explained, such as Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, control of the senses by intelligence, work without fruitive desire, and the position of the neophyte. So, this was all presented unsystematically. A more organized outline of the path would be necessary for action and understanding. So Arjuna therefore wanted to clear up these apparently confusing matters so that any common man could accept them without misinterpretation. Arjuna is thinking for us. He is asking question for us so that people will not misinterpret and do the wrong thing. Okay, people should get the clear understanding of Bhagavad Gita or the message of Krishna. So although Krishna had no intention of confusing Arjuna by any jugglery of words, Arjuna could not follow the process of Krishna consciousness. It's very tricky. Krishna did not want to create this situation, but Arjuna did not understand the process of Krishna consciousness either by inertia or by active service. In other words, by his questions, he is clearing the path of Krishna consciousness for all students who seriously want to understand the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. So that's the point. So Arjuna is misunderstanding things here. Okay. So although Krishna had no intention of confusing Arjuna, but still he got confused. Okay. So in this two sloka, Arjuna is asking this thing to be cleared. Okay. Krishna consciousness often misused as an excuse to avoid duty or misunderstood to be inertia. So what is the correct understanding? Without being trained in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, it is not advisable to chant the holy name in a secluded place. Okay. So Prabhupada was very much against of these kind of things, that somebody is going here, there and sitting alone in the jungle and chanting. So Prabhupada is saying in one of the lecture in 1968 that in Vrindavan you will find so-called devotees of Krishna living in seclusion and supposedly chanting Hare Krishna. Living in seclusion and chanting Hare Krishna. In practice, it has been seen that such an artificial way of trying to become Krishna conscious does not make anyone advanced. Very important. They live in a secluded place and chant Hare Krishna, but when they come out, they are smoking. So they cannot even give up tobacco, let alone the other enticements of the material world. They could not even give tobacco, what other thing they will give up. So when you become mature, then you may wish to try living in a seclusion. But when a person really become mature, that time he may go in seclusion. That's fine. So Maya is everywhere. Prabhupada is saying very important thing. Maya is everywhere and she will tempt you with, for example, tobacco. So Maya can tempt from anything. Saubhari Muni got tempted. So you will not advance while engaging in such nonsense. If somebody is engaging in nonsense, you will not advance. Phalena parichayate. Prabhupada is saying that in general people understand that by, this is general understanding. What is that? Prabhupada is saying, in general people understand that by retiring from ordinary life, one becomes spiritually advanced because he left something, so he is very advanced. That is being taught here, but it is not like that. So it's not the idea that if somebody left everything, then he is very advanced. Krishna taught to the whole world that Arjuna was a... So now Prabhupada is saying very wonderful message. Krishna taught to the whole world that Arjuna was a soldier. He was a fighter. And even by fighting and carrying out his prescribed duty, he can be Krishna conscious. So even if you are a student, even if you are an employee, you are a housewife, you are whoever you are, the point here is that being situated in your position, you can be Krishna conscious. That's the idea. You can be still Krishna conscious being in that position. That's what that idea Krishna is establishing here. That Arjuna is a soldier. He is not leaving everything and going and sitting in the jungle. He is fighting. He is killing people. But is how? Like his prescribed duty, he is just doing, because Kshatriya, so he is doing that. But still he is Krishna conscious. He can be Krishna conscious. A person who is engaged in his duties, yesterday there was a question about studies and all. So there is the answer that even though you are engaged, but still you can be Krishna conscious. So Arjuna, while fighting, he was Krishna conscious, which is more dangerous situation where life also can go. So if he can be Krishna conscious while fighting, while in the battlefield where everywhere so much danger is there, he is killing people, he is trying to kill him, that position he can be Krishna conscious. That why we cannot be Krishna conscious while studying, while doing our assignments, while doing our exams, while doing our office duties, while doing our household activities. Okay, so that's what we have to understand from this chapter of Karma Yoga. Okay. So, it will only acquire, so if a person on the name of Krishna consciousness leaves everything and goes somewhere here, there in jungle, then he will acquire only cheap adoration from the innocent people. That's what Prabhupada is saying. And what is the practical application? That sign of a sincere student places the doubt before master to elicit best course of action. So whenever there is confusion, a sincere student asks with his spiritual master, with his teacher. And here Krishna explained, in order to clear the doubt of Arjuna, a sincere student of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained the process of Karma Yoga, which is work. Karma Yoga means work in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so for so Arjuna clears apparently confusing path of chapter 2. For sincere students of Bhagavad Gita, liberation or bondage is not determined by one's activities, but by one's consciousness in performing those activities. Thus, renunciation is not giving up, but is the giving up of attachment to the fruit of the activities. This is the point here. Renunciation doesn't mean giving up the activities, but actually the giving up the attachment to the fruit of the activities. That is the trick. It's not like you have to give up that. Krabanyavadika raste ma phaleshu katasa. You have right to do your duty only. So renunciation means giving up the attachment to the fruit of activity. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Fruit of the activity. Okay. Renunciation of activity without the necessary training, knowledge and purification will lead to destruction on the path of spiritual advancement. Without prescribed duties, an unfulfilled desire for activity will lead the premature renunciation to sinful action. Okay, so that is called Niskam Karma Yoga. So now Krishna will gradually explain this thing in this chapter. Okay, so this is third chapter. So I will try to show you the PPT if it is there. Okay, so here it is. So okay, now you can see. Okay, so now you might be able to see that, right? So this is the third chapter, 43 shlokas are there. So renunciation, first 9 verses, renunciation of work or work in devotion, that section. Second will be from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. Okay, 10 to 16. Then Karma Yoga performing detached work to set the example. That's Karma Yoga. Performing, it's not like leaving, but performing. But what kind of work? Detached work. Okay. And the fourth is beware of lust and anger. That is the last section of this chapter. Okay, so like this. Okay, so I have already explained you this thing. Why did Arjuna ask this question? So I have explained this. Okay, and So Arjuna is asking only one thing, because you have said two things, both are contradictory, so please tell me one thing. So he is not asking question for himself alone, he is asking question for the other student of the Bhagavad Gita also. Okay. So therefore both the yogas are interdependent as religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy this is very famous statement of Prabhupada. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. Okay, so religion means so many things they are doing, but they don't know any philosophy. So that is fanaticism. But some people, philosophy without religion, they know so many philosophy, they do not practice anything. Okay, so that is mental speculation. So of these two, the path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by a philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process, and by the direct method of devotional service, it is simultaneously easy and sublime. Okay. So without purification, one cannot attain success by abruptly adopting the fourth order of life. So purification is needed, then only sannyas is possible. Without purification, one will be not successful. Okay, so so this is actually now third verse we shall do tomorrow. Okay, third and fourth. So in the now third verse onwards, Lord Krishna will speak. So this section we shall do tomorrow. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Shri Prabhupada की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय.